Welcome to today's Explainer. Let's get right into it, because we are looking at one of the most ruthless defense mechanisms inside your body. You hear immune system and probably think of white blood cells hunting down bacteria, right? But what if I told you there's a silent, microscopic arsenal just floating in your blood, waiting to be triggered? We're talking about the complement system. It's not just a boring list of proteins, it is a highly coordinated network of hidden tripwires and molecular weapons.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the body's hidden weapon, then look at 3 paths to activation, how we destroy the target, keeping the system in check, and finally, what happens when the whole system fails.
Okay, let's dive into part 1, the body's hidden weapon. So, by formal definition, the complement system is a group of serum proteins that just hang out in an inactive form, kind of like proenzymes. But when they're activated by a process called proteolysis, they kick off this massive cascade. Think of it exactly like a high-stakes domino effect. One tiny trigger cleaves a protein, which activates the next, and it just amplifies into this overwhelmingly powerful immune response. And they're called complement because, well, they literally complement or boost the actions of our antibodies and phagocytic cells. To put the sheer scale of this into perspective, there are about 30 distinct types of these proteins, mostly named C1 through C9, and they make up roughly 5% of all your normal serum proteins. I mean, that is a massive biological investment for your body. They're heat label, constantly circulating in your veins right now, and totally ready to deploy the second they're needed.
And where do they come from? Primarily, they're synthesized by the liver, with a little help from tissue macrophages. But what's truly brilliant here is how they act as this seamless bridge. They link your innate immunity, the built-in defenses you're born with, right to your acquired immunity, those highly targeted antibody-driven defenses you build up over time.
All right, part 2, 3 paths to activation. So how do these tripwires actually get tripped?
Well, evolution loves a good rule of threes. There isn't just one way to sound the alarm. We've got 3 distinct pathways: the classical, the alternative, and the lectin pathways. They all end with the exact same explosive result. But how they start is beautifully tailored to different types of threats. Let's break them down. The classical pathway is part of your acquired immunity, so it's antibody dependent. It basically sits back and waits for your specific antibodies, specifically IgM or IgG, to bind to an antigen. Once that complex forms, it triggers the very first complement protein, C1. But what if you've never encountered this specific bacteria before? You don't have antibodies yet. That is exactly where the alternative and lectin pathways step up. These are your immediate innate alarms. They don't wait around for antibodies. The alternative pathway gets triggered directly by things like bacterial endotoxins, while the lectin pathway kicks in when host proteins bind to mannose sugars found right on the surface of the microbe. They spot the invader and attack immediately.
Moving on to part 3, destroying the target. Once that cascade is triggered, how does the system take out the trash? It all builds up to the assembly of this ultimate molecular weapon called the membrane attack complex, or MAC. This is literal biological warfare. Here's how it goes down. First, an enzyme called C5 convertase cleaves the C5 protein. The larger piece, C5b, slams into the target cell's membrane and anchors itself. Then it calls in C6 and C7. Next, C8 binds, embedding itself even deeper. And then comes the lethal blow. Multiple C9 molecules rush in, polymerize, and link together to form a rigid tubular channel. So you have C5, B, 6, 7, and 8 acting as a base, while that ring of poly C9 punches a literal 10-nanometer hole straight through the bacterium's lipid bilayer. You've just completely compromised the cell's membrane. Water and ions come rushing in, the bacterium swells up from the osmotic pressure, and boom! Explosive cellular lysis, total destruction. But direct lysis isn't the only trick up its sleeve. As this cascade is firing off, it throws out fragments, specifically one called C3b. Through a process called opsonization, C3b coats the pathogen, basically painting a giant glowing target on its back. Now, our phagocytes, the Pac-Man of the immune system, have special CR1 receptors that bind perfectly to C3b. So the complement system is literally grabbing the bacterium and physically handing it over to the phagocyte to be devoured. It's wildly efficient.
Which brings up a pretty terrifying question. What if this incredibly powerful biological weapon turns on our own body cells?
Let's get into part 4, keeping the system in check. Since this system essentially acts like a bomb, we need incredibly precise ways to disarm the tripwires so we don't destroy our own healthy tissue. Fortunately, our healthy cells are covered in specialized shields, essential regulatory proteins. You've got the C1 inhibitor, which literally pries apart the C1 complex to stop the classical pathway before it even gets going. There's decay accelerating factor, or DAF, which stops the cascade from anchoring to your own cell membranes. And then you have factor I, which patrols around inactivating free-floating C3b so it doesn't accidentally flag your own cells for destruction. Without these highly specific regulators, the cascade would absolutely tear you apart from the inside out.
And that takes us to our final section, when the system fails.
When these microscopic dominoes don't fall right, or the brakes fail, the real-world health consequences are severe. Missing just one protein changes everything. If you're deficient in C3, the main hub for all the pathways, you're looking at severe, recurrent, pyogenic, or pus-forming infections. Missing C5 through C8, the ones that build the lethal pore, you become uniquely susceptible to severe bacteremia from Neisseria species. Interestingly, if you're missing early classical proteins like C2 or C4, you're highly prone to autoimmune diseases like systemic lupus erythematosus. And if you lack that crucial C1 inhibitor we just mentioned, it leads to hereditary angioedema, causing terrifying, unwarranted swelling and fluid leakage.
And we're not just talking about genetics here. Remember how the liver makes almost all of these proteins? Well, if a patient has severe liver disease, cirrhosis, or even severe malnutrition, their liver simply can't churn them out. Their complement synthesis drastically drops, crippling those immune tripwires and leaving them wide open to life-threatening bacterial infections. It really highlights how deeply interconnected our organs are with our immune defenses.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this. The complement system is truly the ultimate double-edged sword. It's a ruthless, efficient protector, but a devastating enemy if left unchecked. Imagine if, as modern medicine advances, we could perfectly master these microscopic dominoes. What if we could boost them on demand to fight off superbugs, or perfectly inhibit them to stop autoimmune destruction in its tracks? Could we one day cure the very diseases they cause? It is an absolutely fascinating frontier in immunology. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.